The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is.
So this is the one that says special music that connects. Right there, that's Morning is Broken.
No, that is meditation. That's look. Where's the pen?
Oh, that's look. I got a pen. So wait a second. So
I got it.
no, I have a pen right here.
Pen instead?
Oh, I got it. Well, I can write with on this. I can write with a pen. So in here then community singing.
That's I come to the garden.
So garden, and then that's it. That's it there.
Well, that's it for because then for community singing.
And we said that's in the key of D.
Yes.
Okay. And we welcome chime opening prayer.
And then yes, and then this is look.
Can I make the music any more complicated?
Oh boy.
Let me try. Let me see if I can make it even more complicated.
Trying to make sure I had everything correct.
Well,
Here's just going to help me a lot.
Chantal, how are you? Nice to see you.
How are you doing? Oh, good to see you.
Jeff, on your hang on, stay with me with Medora.
Yeah.
This is Morning Has Broken after
Special
Statement of
music.
Truth.
Morning is broken.
You know Statement of Truth is the we're only one power. You remember that?
Oh yeah.
What's the other one we do up front after you hit the bowl? What's the other song?
Open, open. I know that one.
Which one is it?
Open, open.
we don't do that one anymore.
Okay.
We don't do it anymore.
We're doing.
I do the welcome, I do the chime, I do a little prayer, and then we if you want to play, then you could, but we don't sing.
Okay. No, we won't.
Okay. Then here's the one place that it gets complicated.
Okay. It's gonna get complicated. Hang on 1 second.
Sounds great, Jeff.
Okay.
You're good?
Yeah.
How's the tuning of the piano sound? It's okay?
Yeah. Sounds really good.
We just installed this little climate control system.
Good thing.
Seems to be helping.
Helps keep it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
Nice to see you. Yeah, this is fun. Sam. You've been gone for so long.
One, two, check one. Can you hear me? Testing. Anything? There we go. Excellent. Thank you.
special music, we do Morning Has Broken, and then
And what
she's,
key are you in?
I don't know, it was too low before.
Sing it.
I come to, oh wait,
No, the one.
the wrong song.
There is only one power.
Morning has
No,
broken,
there's only one power.
there is only one power.
So that's second truth, A minor.
Okay. So then she starts her talk. We do Morning Has Broken. And then she starts the talk. And when she gets ready to, Medora will be up. And then she's going to segue into bringing Heidi up. When she segues into bringing Heidi up, then we only do one verse of In This Very Room. Then Heidi talks. Then Medora comes back up.
Should we rehearse it?
In This Very Room.
We
You and I?
haven't done it yet.
In this very
So,
This is so beautiful. In this very room, and everybody sings. There's quite enough there's quite enough joy and slowly. There's quite enough. She's for us. And that's it. Then she'll talk, and at the end of her talk, or partway through, she'll cue me, and then we're gonna do one more verse.
okay.
So it happens twice during
So
the
that's,
early part of the talk and at the end of the talk.
that's here. No, that's Morning Has Broken. So we're talking
And
about
it's
here.
during the message. This is during
Okay,
the
one
talk.
verse, one verse.
Very room. We'll be doing
Very
two verses, and then special music is always there.
And that's the same song. Yeah.
Yes, and the no,
Second verse.
goofball, special music is us. This is all during the talk,
Oh,
very
I see.
rude.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So what's the special music?
They're always there.
Always there.
Now, during the offertory, we do the water is wide now.
Oh,
Instead
yes.
of, how's that?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the lyric? Oh, but we don't, what's the lyric?
Just as we give.
That's what we gave, we received. That's too low, so what key should we do that on?
Sing for me.
Yeah, that's perfect. What key is that? So
C,
remember.
C.
That's pretty friendly for everybody, don't you think?
Yeah.
'Cause I
So
sing
that's,
with all you.
so that's,
So that comes,
Gifts.
after the talk, before we do Always There is Just As We Give. That's during the offertory. Then we do our offertory song, and then we're done. Okay, you remember?
yeah.
You don't worry about during the talk. I'll cue you on the very rooms. The only thing different is that we're
Should we
doing
stay
one
here for the talk?
verse each. Will you? I wonder if I'll ask her.
It's okay.
It's already.
Okay.
Oh, boy. Oh, you need that too? Oh. It's a special morning. We're all here on this beautiful anniversary day, and all doing well. So we're stepping back in time a little bit. We're going to do a traditional song that was from the Unity Hymnal, sung many years ago when Candida started the whole organization back on Willow Avenue, and it was one of her favorites. So we're going to have the lyric up on the board, I'm fairly certain, of I Come to the Garden. I come to the garden alone while the dew is still on the roses, and the voice I hear falling on my ear, the Son of God discloses. And he walks with me and he talks with me and he tells me I am his own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. He speaks and the sound of his voice is so sweet, the birds hush their singing, and the melody that he gave to me within my heart is singing. And he walks with me and he talks with me and he tells me I am his own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known.
Good morning. I'm the Reverend Medora Gordon, and this is Unity in Marin. Whoever we are, wherever we are from, whatever our size, shape, color, or choice, we are welcome in this place. As we come together now, I want us to keep in mind that this is a very special day on many, many levels. Not only is it our birthday, and not only are we celebrating those people in unity whose shoulders we stand on, but I want us to remember today also all those who make this country a free place, all those who have served, all those who have not come home, all those who have come home. We are blessed to be in this place. We take a moment now in prayer, together as one, grateful for all that is, grateful for those we love, grateful for those that we have not yet met. We are one, we are open, and we are loving, and so it is. As you all know, morning is not my strength, but I think that this is you now.
Okay. Good morning. Well, welcome, Unity and Marin. Thank you, Deborah Winters, and Jeff is behind the piano today. Oh my gosh. This is so awesome. Okay. Well, welcome. I want to let you know that we have a family youth program during our 9:30 service. So if you know of any families with young children that like to participate in our spiritual growth out there, please invite them here at Unity in Marin. And let me tell you something about us. We are a spiritual community committed to authenticity and the expression of love and support for each other in living an awakened, enlightened life. And at this time, we have two new members that will be, how do you say? Welcomed in to our community. So I'll have Reverend Medora take over.
Thank you. Actually, we have one new member, and I'm not sure where the other one is, but she didn't come. She can't make it. Okay. She's still a new member, absolutely. This is Paula for all of you. As all of you know, and please join and follow and listen with me, for many, many of you have already done this and been through this ceremony, but it doesn't hurt to remind ourselves of who we are and why we do this. For Unity membership, there are no requirements other than a desire to know God and to love and commit to growing in understanding of the laws of our very being. Unity has no prescribed doctrine or creed, except to say that each of us endeavors to live the truth and seeks divinity in every person, including ourselves. We are a community of truth seekers. Take that in. We are a community of truth seekers. Each of us on our own unique spiritual journey, in our unity of purpose and our love of God, we believe that truth is revealed directly from Spirit, that is the rock upon which this community is built. For you who desire membership in Unity in Marin, please repeat after me. I dedicate and consecrate myself.
I dedicate and consecrate myself
to the will and the work of the living Spirit of truth.
To the will and the work of the living Spirit of truth.
And the unfoldment of my divine potential.
And the unfoldment of my divine potential. We
have a certificate for you, Paula. And a book.
Yay, not enough books.
We don't have enough books. Will you all please join me in saying the prayer of protection? And say you, not me. So hands up, if you will. Prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds you. The love of God enfolds you. The power of God protects you. The presence of God watches over you. Wherever you are, God is. And so it is. Would you all please welcome our newest member.
Wonderful. Please join me in stating our Connect commitment. We connect with Spirit, inspiring each other, the community, and the world. So part of my duties up here is to highlight activities that go on here at Unity in Marin. And I invite you, if you need more information, to go online and find out more about the programs that we're offering here in more detail. So here at Unity Wednesday, we have a Wednesday night service. This Wednesday, it's with Scott Grace, who has an amazing gift to create music on the fly. So whatever the vibration is happening in the room with everyone present, he'll create a brand new song and really touch each person on an emotional level. So if that calls to you, please join us on our Wednesday night service. And then on Thanksgiving Day, there's two activities going on. One is a Thanksgiving service, which takes place in the morning. The guest speaker, as you can see, is Carolyn Gauthier. And she asked that everyone, if you like, to bring something to put on the table to share. It could be fruits or vegetables or gourds, whatever you'd like to bring to give and also give away. And it's a way of sharing the abundance of the unity table with each other. And that was for the Thanksgiving service. And then in the evening, there will be a Thanksgiving dinner. And so you can participate in that. You can bring a potluck or not. We do ask that you can sign up at the welcome table, the hub out in the courtyard, if you like to have Thanksgiving dinner here at Unity in Marin. And at this time, I'd like to ask the prayer chaplain to bring the prayer box up. Kathleen. Here at Unity in Marin, we believe in the power of prayer, and we ask and invite you to put your prayer request in the box. And as soon as you do that, your prayer is beginning to be answered. It is answered. So we hold that, all of us, in prayer with you. Here at Unity, we pray with you for 30 days, after which it's sent to Silent Unity for an additional 30 days. And we have the Christ candle lit here before us to remind each and every one of us that the light shines. It's not lead. You guys, it's not lead. You know why? Because you're so bright in your chairs right there that it's just blinding me. We don't need it lit because you're on fire. I'll get to it in a minute. Okay. Thank you, Kathleen. At this time, we are going to go into a little time of meditation. We use a tool called the Daily Word. We have a bookstore at the end of the breezeway of which we sell this book, and it's a tool that we use, a lot of us, to start our day with, to meditate in the morning or to end our day with, or sometimes you'll have a day where you're just constantly reading it. But it's a great tool, and I ask that you go take a look, and Christine can help you find that little booklet. The daily word for today is freedom. So I want you to get comfortable in your chairs, and after I read it to you, then we're going to just take a couple of minutes in silent meditation. The word for today is freedom. I am free through the freedom of spirit. The words of the prayer for protection were originally penned by James Dillard Freeman during World War II years for those in the armed services. Today I use these words to bless all who serve and those who have returned to civilian life. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. I am grateful for all those who have given of themselves that I might freely be able to make my choices in life. I celebrate my freedom by valuing it and using it wisely, making decisions that bless others as well as me. I am free through the freedom of spirit. And from 2 Corinthians, now the Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. Let's take these words into the silence. I am free through the freedom of spirit.
For all the tears, all the times I got lost, for every bridge my heart's crossed. Look at how your love has changed my life. Woke up all the dreams I've held inside. All the stars fell in place when I first felt your grace. And once again the world seemed right. Look at how you knew you'd found my heart deep out of the blues and torn apart. Long before I could see, you were so there for me. You held me in your light so bright. Love finds a way through time and grace. How sweet to step into this dance when I never thought my heart would get a second chance. Look at how your love has changed my life, filled me with a hope that shines so bright that the past closed the book when I turn back to look at how your love has changed my life. And the past closed the book when I turn back to look at how your love has changed my life.
Deborah, that was beautiful. Thank you. If this is your first time here, welcome. We love having you here today. I know it was a big deal because it's kind of smoky outside, so we want to make sure everyone's safe. But thanks for joining us. Our welcome team here has packets in their hands that we'd love to gift to you. And there's information about us inside. There's a form on the outside. We ask that you take it to our welcome to the hub with the tent and give it and learn about our classes. So all we ask of you is that you raise your hands and keep them up high, and we'll gift the packet to you. And will everyone else please join me in stating our GROW commitment? We grow in consciousness through education, healing, and prayer. So, again, we have lots of things going on. One of them being is a writer's workshop with Sue Sommer, and she's an amazing teacher. She actually developed the creative writing program at Marin School of the Arts in Nevada High School. She was Teacher of the Year in 2014. She wrote a book on grammar and how to use words correctly. And she says that we all have stories to tell. We all have a story to tell. Even if you think you're not a writer, this workshop's for you. I think often of how I wish, either my grandparents or even my parents wrote little stories, had written down their stories. I just remember little stories that my mom had shared with me when she used to go hunting with her father and her brothers. This little deaf girl going hunting. She loved to shoot off her gun or something. I don't know. I just never got that from my mom. But anyway, because she's from the country, that's why. But I would have loved to have had her tell me detailed stories of stuff like that. So maybe it's something that you can give to your own kids or to your friends or whatever about your background. So consider becoming a writer for a hot minute. And this is her last series for the rest of the year. And then if you're interested in life after death, this is going to be with Amy Call. She's actually from Sacramento. And at the age of 21, she got married, had 4 daughters, homeschooled them, and then they all went off to college. And then at the age of 30, she had a near-death experience. And so she was gifted with feeling vibrations and anyway, let her tell her story. But it's fascinating. It's just really fascinating. So join Amy Call on Friday, the 16th. And as you know, we are still hunting for our senior minister. So this is the second minister that will be coming to our campus. His name is Reverend Jim Lee. He's from Detroit, studied under Marianne Williamson. And I have been on the search team. Let me tell you, we have worked really long hours, and I am asking you to show up and listen and really participate in each one of the candidates that we had narrowed down for you. And that's all we ask you to do, is just come with an open heart, open mind. Got it? Okay, good. Because we're excited about what we are presenting to you. He's, again, the second of 4. And would everyone please rise to sing our statement of truth?
There is only one power, only one presence, active in all my life and in the universe. God the good, in all, through all, and over all. There is only one power, only one presence, active in all my life and in the universe. God the good, in all, through all, and over all. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Okay, so the song before
Medora and some other special treats happen during the talk today. We all get to sing together. And I like that on today. I need your help. So Morning Has Broken should be coming, yay, on the screen. So here we go. You guys all know this one. Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the world. Sweet the rain's new fall, sunlit from heaven, like the first dew fall or the first grass. Praise for the sweetness of the wet garden, sprung in completeness where the feet pass. Mine is the sunlight, mine is the morning, born of the one light Eden saw play. Praise with elation, praise every morning, God's recreation of the new day. Thank you.
I told everybody this morning if I could make this any more confusing, submit it to the front and I'll see what I can do. This is our anniversary, our 54th anniversary, and Unity in Marin has been through a whole number of different pieces and parts. So before we get started, I want to tell you that there will be some history, there will be spirituality, there will be music, there will be all kinds of things, and we are doing the talk from down here for a very special reason. In 1964, there was a book study group in Santa Rosa, and they discovered that a woman named Candida Wright, who was working in a church in San Francisco, was going to seminary and going to be ordained. Now, I want to explain the history a little bit. In the Unity movement at that time, you didn't start churches. We all began as reading groups. And it's wonderful to read the history of how Charles and Myrtle did that, because Myrtle had a study group, and so Charles came and they had a study group, and a whole idea was that you studied and then you went back to whatever your home church was on Sunday, that you took the teachings out and away. And then people began to say, but I want to worship with my friends that are in the study group. I don't want to go out there. And no, we're a study group. It's education, healing, and prayer. There's nothing in it about worshiping together. This is what we do. And so somebody said, well, okay, I tell you what, let's add a prayer at the beginning. All right, so they added a prayer at the beginning. You read this in the history, it's charming. And then somebody said, and I know what, let's add another prayer at the end. Cool, we can do that. It's still a study group, da-da-da, da-da-da. On they went. And then someone said, you know, I would just love it if we could open with song. So they added a song and a prayer. And then there was the Bible reading. And then there was the study group. And then there was another prayer. And then, of course, you got it. How about we close with song? So then they closed with song, and then the next thing you knew, one thing led to another. they had a Sunday worship service, as it was called in those days. And there was nothing to do for it. The people, the movement, the energy wouldn't have it any other way. So in 1964, Unity was kind of coming out of that. When I say study group in Santa Rosa, it wasn't like there was a church in Santa Rosa. It was a study group in Santa Rosa. But Candida Wright went off and went to seminary, and they came back and they said, well, why don't you start a study group in San Rafael? So they encouraged her to come here. She had been away at seminary. She came back here and started in San Rafael. Now, I want to take a little break here and say her main, as nearly as I can tell from the people that I talked to, her main belief was centered very much in the book of John in the Bible. And the basic principle I'm going to read to you, it's 1 John. I know you've all heard it. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God, and all things came into being through him, and without him not one thing came into being. What has come into being in him was life, and the life was the light of all people. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not overcome it. Can't you hear us in that? In the beginning there was the Word, in the beginning there was the light. How often do we talk about all that? And I just need, because you know me in the Bible is our primary source here at Unity in Marin. Every person, place, thing, and event has some kind of spiritual meaning for all of us. And if you look at the book of John, you'll find it's very different from the first 3 books of the New Testament. Matthew, Mark, and Luke talked about a Jesus who was, he's very different from the one that was painted in John. The Jesus in the first part he had pithy one-liners, and he was willing to you have parables strung together. He's healing the blind man, and he's got the guy at the fountain, and he's doing all these things. So they were all sort of strung together like beads on a string. And yet in John, the Jesus in John is a totally different guy. All right? They think it was written possibly by someone that was in the school of John the Apostle, but they're not sure. It has a different geographical location. It's almost as though some intellectual heard about Jesus and wrote the book of John. In John, Jesus gives coherent lectures on specific themes like light or healing or ethics. And the biggest difference is that the Jesus of John lives into self-affirmation. And that's where it hooks us. Because how many times do we say, I am that I am? How many times do we say, I am the light? I am the way. I am the truth. Self-affirmation. I am that I am. And that Jesus and that affirmation comes straight out of the book of John. And that was Candy's main source for organizing theologically. I mean, it's no wonder that the Unity-trained Candy used it, because we're using it yet today. It's still a major part of who we are. From the beginning, Unity was a manifestation of a dream. The dream from the people in Santa Rosa, the dream from the people that came together in San Rafael. And you know manifestation, that word, we throw it around a lot. So I looked it up just to be sure I know what it meant. And manifestation means following our internal faith with such strength and passion that we create the very foundation on which we stand. That's manifestation. Following our internal dream. Candy and the women in that first group manifested who we are. It came from there. You can feel it. And there were several stops along the way. Would everyone here who was part of the community before 8 Willow. Come up, please, and take a chair. I want you to understand how very far back we go.
Wow.
There's
I was that old.
this Steve. Leonora. And Debbie is here representing her family. Bonnie, jeepers. Would you all go yay for them? So with Leonora's help, I did some digging. We did some digging yesterday, and the first Unity and Marin met in the Knights of Columbus building on Tungsten Avenue in San Anselmo. And it was a brown shingle building, and Candy loved to call it the Little Brown Church in the Vale. Remember the song, Wildwood? I looked it up on YouTube, but it was too late. Deborah has gotten to the point where she didn't want to hear from me with regard to this talk. By the way, all of the songs that we're singing were songs that were favorites of Candy's, favorites of those communities. We're singing them now to draw us back to our history. The first Sunday services were November 15th, 1964. So here we are. We're as close to November 15th as we could get, November 11th. And for the first 6 months, we weren't called Unity and Marin. We were called Unity Christ Church, our little brown church in the Wildwood. And there's a quote from Candy in the 25-year newsletter saying that in November of 1965, which was 1 year later, she got some people together. They were having a group. You can imagine what beginning a church must feel like. And she said, by 1 year later, we are now providing a Sunday school with lessons from Unity Village, a paid organist and soloist, weekday classes, bookstore in the office of the Masonic Building in San Rafael. I have a story to tell you about that Masonic building, not that it ties to Unity, but when I was here and in high school, I was in Job's Daughters, which is part of the whole Masonic thing. Something you do as a teenage girl, and you know, teenage girls are generally pretty interested in teenage boys. And Demolay was the other side of Job's Daughters for the boys, and Demolay would have dances. And the dances would be in that very same Masonic building, which is right down on Luton's Place. It's right across, you know where Social Security is? I have something for our age, but it's directly across the street and on the 3rd floor. So I know that building. I was a Methodist in those days, so I wouldn't have dared know about Unity, but that's where they had all of this going on. By 1967, Unity and Marin had expanded to 24 H Street. Bonnie Abbey's parents had a building, and they rented the upper floor to us. And that was called the Upper Room. We were there for 11 years as they were manifesting who we are and who we are to become. By November of 1979, these families had come together and bought 8 Willow. 8 Willow is a beauty parlor. The story goes that Candy's hairstylist knew we were looking for space, and she happened to say to Candy, by the way, I know this beauty salon, and it's over, you know where Muffin Mania is? Everybody kind of in Center Fell? Okay, well, 8 Willow is sort of behind Muffin Mania. That's where we started. But we didn't really start. We started in these other places. So she got moved in. There was a Thanksgiving service in November of 1979. Beautiful music, much love, but Candy's life was beginning to indicate to her that it was time to step back. In early 1985, Candy advised the board of her intention to move to emeritus status. That means retire. And the board put on their manifestation hats and held the vision and searched for well over a year, more like 18 months, until they finally resulted in the call to Richard Manti in the fall of 1986. And it was divine destiny. Now, Heidi is back among us, and I am thrilled to have Heidi back. She is going to talk to us about the years in Masonic, the Manti years, of how we got from where we were then to where we are now. But in addition to that, we're going to sing the first verse of a song that was sung often in church at that time. Everybody, there are inserts. It's called In This Very Room. I think we have the slide. So,
in this very room, there's quite enough love for one like me. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for one like me. And there's quite enough hope and quite enough power to chase away any gloom. For Jesus, yes, Jesus, is in this very room.
Good morning. Excuse me, but that song brought back memories and emotions. So we did actually change the words at one point to spirit. In this very room, spirit. So I'd like to right now invite everybody who is in this very room, who was a part of our community when we were in the Masonic Lodge in Larkspur, and also temporarily in the Seventh-day Adventist Church. So if you were part of our community back in the Masonic days, please come up and join these three. And there's chairs over there if you run out of a seat. We're not going to make you play musical chairs. There are extra chairs in the corner. And we thank you for your presence on this stage this morning. So, as you can see, my husband was a part of Unity in Marin when it was Candy's ministry. His mother actually served on, Barbara, my late mother-in-law, served on Candy's board of trustees. And as a late teen, he actually helped paint 8 Willow before they moved in for their first Sunday service. And but then as we got to know each other and dated and got married, we didn't really actively involve ourselves in Unity. I was at the time very cynical about organized religion, but then I found Unity and realized we're not that organized, so it was okay. We came back when Jennifer, many of you know her, our second child was born. We came to Unity and they had already moved into the Masonic for Sunday services. They were renting that facility. So backing up a little, when Richard showed up, about 3 years before we got re-engaged, he was at 8 Willow. 8 Willow was our precious little sanctuary, and it held about 45 people. But in alignment with Candy's vision for Unity in Marin, Richard came with an intention and a vision too, and that was to share this powerful community and its teachings with as many people as possible. And so the law of attraction was in full effect when Reverend Richard Manti showed up, and people started coming to that tiny little sanctuary. So 45 people in one service turned into 45 people in two services. And then holidays were so packed, the neighbors were complaining about the parking, but more than that, that beautiful little space couldn't contain the expanding community. And so they rented different community centers, and then it became clear that they were going to have to rent a place on a regular basis for Sunday services, and that became the Masonic Lodge in Larkspur, right around the corner from College of Marin. And so Unity in Marin became what they call a church in the box. And what that means is every Sunday we'd show up at the Masonic Lodge, pull all our stuff out of the boxes that were tucked away, hang banners and our affirmations and prayers up so that the space became ours. And the community loved all that was being offered there every Sunday, the truths being spoken and sung and learned, and the growth, both personal and as a community, that was growing on. And at some point, church in a box no longer fit us. We no longer fit in the box. And it became clear that there was a deeply felt desire to have our own home, to manifest our own church, property, and home that could be the foundation of our legacy of who we were and are still. Unfortunately, that little community of about 95 to 120-ish people, for that community, buying a building in Marin County was impossible. Impossible. But we're never really good at following the rules, so we started looking anyway, and we looked at a bank. I kid you not, thinking of turning a bank into a sanctuary, not sure what we were going to do with the vault. We looked at a Safeway store. We looked at broken down old churches. We looked at all sorts of facilities, and with the intention to find our right and perfect new church home. And then at some point we realized we might need some money. So we brought in a fundraising expert who assessed our community and said, well, I believe, based on my extensive experience, that you can raise about $750,000 from this community. That wasn't going to be enough even then in Marin County. So we decided there was more in us, and that guided by Spirit, we set the intention to raise $1 million. And we gathered pledges and giving in the amount of $1,060,000. We started this campaign before we had a building to focus on. But as Spirit moves, about halfway through our capital campaign, this facility came up for sale. It was owned by the military. The General Services Administration was selling it. And so we set the intention to make this facility ours and take that money that we had raised to pay for it. So we bought it online. I kid you not. Not through Amazon, no. That was a pretty new thing. It was quite a dramatic story, and I can't go into all the stories of how we came to be the highest bidder, but we did. And our highest bid was $300,000 over the money we raised. What were we thinking? So many times in the process of acquiring this building, we did something that is a fabulous metaphor for me, and that is sometimes you don't know exactly how things are going to happen, and you can't wait until you do, because sometimes you have to jump off the cliff and build your parachute on the way down. I used to tell Bill, those people that bought this facility, they were crazy. I know, because I was one of them. Within 3 weeks of purchasing this building and paying $300,000 more than we had, Reverend Candida Wright passed away. And it was a surprise. It was gentle and it was her time, but two things that were significant for us. One is, and it was like a clear signal. She was saying, you're home and you're going to be okay. The second thing was that she left her entire estate to Unity and Marin. Its value was $300,000, the exact amount we needed to fill the gap between what we had and what we had paid for the building. Come to me sometime. There's so many stories, and I'm going to skip most of them right now. But being a part of that process of searching for and finding this facility and manifesting what we needed to create, and then once we paid for the building, after service, look around at some photos of what it looked like when we bought it. Yikes. So then we took another leap off that cliff and decided to spend $1,800,000 renovating it. The courtyard wasn't there. So many things that you see were not there. So another leap of faith brought us to what you see today. But I want you to tell you the most important lesson I learned, and many of us shared this experience, that this amazing facility was a manifestation of a community coming together with all the love and light and creativity and divine ideas and a little bit of insanity that we had to create something that lived only in our hearts and in our minds. And that's what we do here at Unity in Marin. That's what we teach others. That desire you have within you for the life you wish to create, that's God speaking through you. Take the steps, and you can create a manifestation. And Medora is going to talk more about that. But I want to say one other thing that might be a little shocking. This beautiful campus, it's just a thing. It's just a thing. It's just stucco and steel and construction, and that is not where the power and the beauty and the love lies. It's not in the show. It's in you. It's in all of us. It's in the community, the beloved community, from whence we create everything we desire to have. It's about time for me to stop. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I remember when I first found this building, we first found it. My husband, Richard, is a entrepreneurial contractor, real estate-y sort of guy, and we would just drive around looking at stuff, and at one point we looked at this place, and it was creepy. We broke in, you know, the government had it, quote, locked. Richard's a really good second story guy. It was so not locked, trust me on this. But I was so creeped out by this place that I wouldn't walk around in here. I mean, there was water dripping, and there was boards, and there was rats. It was like, it was not cool. But look at what it is at this point. And what can I tell you about who we are now? After the service, I want you to take some time and look at the walls. Look at the past, the present, the future, what we are to become and who we are to be. What are we manifesting now? 95 families manifested this campus. They opened the doors on Palm Sunday of 2002, and now there are 450 members here. I came on staff in 2004. Heidi came on in 2005, and we have been building programs and administration and facility rental and QuickBooks and you name it as hard and as fast as we could ever since we opened those doors and came in. Like I said, look on the walls. And there are times when we talk that I think Heidi and I feel a little like the people that surrounded Candy when she was first manifesting the dream. Because we got it. We're here. But you see that wall of question marks? The question is, who are we? And who are we becoming now? Speaking for Heidi and for me, we love the teachings. We love the practical spirituality. But more than anything, we want to teach these principles to as many people as far and wide as we can, for as long as we can. And we know that when we're done, there will be people coming after us. And we love all of you here because this was your dream, is your dream, is still your dream. And I know that all of us are part of what's coming along next. We have a vision. And we're manifesting as hard and as much as we can, but we honestly need everybody on board. Every one of us needs to be part of the beloved community. And sometimes I know it's hard with a change in minister and people begin to think that they sort of drift away or they're attached to the minister and they're not attached to the community. But it is the community that we represent here today. Truly. One of the reasons I wanted to make a big deal about this birthday is to remind us that throughout all of these years, we have dreamed this dream together. It's not my dream or your dream or Mantai's dream. It's our dream. We moved from Masonic, and look how many are still here. They still have the dream. Unity has one of the most unique things that I have ever seen. We have what I call helicopter members. Nobody ever really leaves here in their heart. They may go away, they may move to Bend, Oregon, or Arizona, or off to somewhere, but they always keep coming back. They're all hovering out there. Nobody ever really leaves this place. There have been 3 ministers here in 54 years, and they still have the dream. Candy built it. Manti got us into it. Bill made building programs possible, and now we have grown to a point that we need an additional minister who will join with the leadership that is already here to spring us into the next generation. But we, the beloved community that's here today, right now, have some work to do. First of all, when you're bringing in a guest, I don't know about you, but I go to some pains to make sure that my house is clean, that the furniture's adjusted, that the paint's touched up. And we need to put this house in order. We need a big work day. And we need to all show up with our gloves and our paintbrushes and our whatever to touch up the paint, figure out the water leak, generally clean up, and don't wait for someone else to do it. Do not wait for me to find somebody to organize it. Organize it. We need to get our house in order. We need a team. It needs to stand up right now. And there's another part. When you're at a place like this and we're turning to a point that we're turning, we also need to prepare a feast for all that is coming now. And for us, that feast is to manifest the amazing generosity and financial depth that has always been the base of Unity in Marin. In the back of all the chairs here and there, you're going to find your Faith in Action flyers. But it's more than that. We need you right here, right now, today to pledge. Number one, take a flyer, pledge, put it in the box. The community needs to stand up. If it's possible, pay your pledge in advance. Take advantage of some elaborate tax thing that I don't understand at all. And do it this year, not next year, because you'll get better credit for something. I don't get it. But the fact is, think about doing that. Think about making a major gift. We need to get our financial house in order before we can even begin to bring in other people. And I'll let you in on a secret that I have heard. I have heard people say to me that there are those of us in this community that are not giving because they don't know who the next minister is going to be. I'll just wait, see if I like the next guy. If I do, I'll give money. If I don't, I won't. And I'm here to tell you today that it's not about the minister. Ministers, leaders, we come and go. The community is the thing that remains. These people aren't here because they followed some minister off a cliff. Well, they did actually follow a minister off a cliff. But the fact of the matter is they are here, not because of the ministers, but because of the community. Each of us needs to step up now. Each of us, each one of us needs to step up now to make this work. As I said, there's much to be done. And this is our house. It's our turn to manifest the amazing vision that is Unity in Marin. So with that, I want to have us all sing the second verse of In This Very Room. The second verse, everybody.
And in this very room, there's quite enough love for all of us. And in this very room, there's quite enough love for all of us. And there's quite enough hope and quite enough power to chase away any gloom. For Jesus, yes, Jesus, He's in this very
Will all of you please stand up and join me in the denial and the affirmation? The denial is spoken from the heart. It's a way of getting rid of those things that no longer serve us. Together, please. Nothing and no one can stop us. Let's try it again. Yeah. Please, I'd like to hear a little more enthusiasm. Ready? Nothing and no one can stop us. Our affirmation together. Our purpose, potential, thought, intention, belief, and action are in perfect alignment. And so it is. Thank you all. Thank you.
Just as we give, though we receive, richly we live in one golden weave. There is nothing that we can lack. We give from love, and take it, love gives it back. Just as we give, so we receive. Richly we live in one golden weave. There is nothing that we can lack. We give from love, and love gives it back. When I'm less than I should be, and I just can't face the day, when darkness falls around me, and I just can't find my way, when my eyes don't clearly see, and I stumble through it all, you I leaned upon, you keep me strong, and you're with me when I fall. You are there when I most need you. You are there so constantly. You come shining through, you always do. You are always there for me. When life brings me to my knees, when my back's against the wall, you are standing there right with me, just to keep me standing tall. Though a burden I may be, you don't weary, you don't rest. You are reaching out to carry me, and I know I'm heaven blessed. You are there when I most need you. You are there so constantly. You come shining through, you always do. You are always there for me. So constantly, you come shining through, you always do. Yes, you're always there for me. You come shining through, you always do. Yes, you're always there.
Look at that. I did it without a railing. We all want to bless all that we are. Please raise your hands and know that we are blessing not just money, blessing the divine, beloved community, all that we are. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. Thank you.
Thank you, Heidi. Thank you, Reverend Medora. I came at the transition between Richard Montai and Reverend Bill coming on. And so I came in the middle of all the changes. But what has kept me here is the teachings of unity. That's what's kept me here. And you guys. You're pretty nice. And very welcoming, so thank you. Please join me in stating our serve commitment. We serve spirit, community, and the world with love, joy, and a sense of adventure. And at this time, I'd like to invite Heidi to talk about our faith in action for 2019.
Thank you. Whoop. This one on? Thank you. Hello. So I'm back. Oh, thanks. My heart never left, but my body did temporarily, and I'm back on the job, which is a blessing and a delight. And one of the things the board has asked me to do is to guide our faith in action experience, which might mean I'll be nagging you a lot, but we'll see how it works out. But I just wanted to say I absolutely love that perspective and metaphor that Medora shared. This is our house. You cannot sit here and exclude yourself from this family. This is our house, and we are about to welcome a new member into our house, into our spiritual family, and that is a new minister who's going to join, as Medora said, the leadership team that's already in place. And so she's right. Let's get the house in order, like you do when you welcome someone into your own home. And let us set a metaphysical feast. When you invite someone to your house, come on. You don't put out yesterday's leftover cheese and crackers. You set a feast out of love and delight at the possibility of sharing your home. Faith in action is our feast. Okay? So I invite you to prayerfully and deeply consider not just continuing your giving, because I know you all already give, but can you be a part of it? Expanding that to be a part of this bountiful, abundant feast as we energize again this community and welcome someone new into its fold. Thank you.
There's days I don't feel like cleaning the 3 toilets in my house. So to get motivated, I just invite somebody over for coffee or tea, and then I'm out there cleaning my house. All right, I just have a few more announcements. Grief Support Circle, Feel and Heal, will now meet on the second Sunday of every month. So if that calls to you, contact Janet Rostat. Our Prayer Chaplain program has an information meeting. So, if you want to be one of those people that wears the white shawl and make yourself available for prayer, this is a perfect opportunity to get information on how to do that. And then come help us deck the halls with Charcel. It's how we decorate for the holidays, and it's actually a fun day. If you've never done it before, it's really a fun day, getting all the decorations out and meeting other members of the community. So if you are available on Saturday, November 24th, please come. And we have a request for hospitality and flower sponsors. Again, you want to see Charcel in the courtyard or maybe in Unity Hall. And our hospitality and flower sponsors for today is from the Prayer Chaplain Circle. So happy birthday to us. And the flowers were arranged by Judy Williams. Oh, there's cake? Is it chocolate? No, never mind. I'll find out myself. I'll find out. It's in Unity Hall. And the bookstore is open, so please come visit us. And will all the prayer chaplains please rise? These are members of our community who have made themselves available to us after service today. Just tap them on the shoulders and share a moment. It's a great way to start off your week. And will everyone else please rise to join them? And let's say our, thank you, prayer for protection. I was like, what? I'm seeing all kinds of, never mind. Okay, here we go. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And let's sing our peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and so it is.